Let's say you've got 6 months, just 6 months, to learn something totally new and complicated. What do you do? Do you go the old school route, hit the books, sign up for a class, or do you fire up an AI tool? Today, we are diving into the ultimate showdown, AI learning versus the traditional methods we all grew up with. Which one actually gets you there faster? And more importantly, which one is really more effective? Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about why the old way is kind of hitting a wall. Then we'll get into the exciting promise of AI learning before we pit them against each other, head to head. And then we'll get to the really interesting part, this idea of a hybrid future and what all of this means for you.
So this is the big question, right? And I promise by the time we're done here, you're not just going to have a clearer answer, you're going to know exactly how it applies to you and how you learn. So in one corner, you've got the familiar scene, textbooks, lecture halls, the whole deal. And in the other corner, we've got the new challenger, learning that's personalized, that adapts to you, powered by artificial intelligence. So let's see how they really stack up. All right, first up, let's take a closer look at the system that's been the bedrock of education for, well, centuries, the traditional model. So, what do we really mean by traditional? Well, it's all built on a fixed curriculum, right? Everyone learns the same thing at the same pace. A lot of the time, it's pretty passive. You're listening to lectures, you're reading, and success, that's usually about how well you can remember stuff for a test. It all kind of boils down to this one-size-fits-all approach. You know, this marathon analogy just hits the nail on the head. Imagine one student can sprint through a concept in 10 minutes, but another person needs a full hour. The traditional system makes them both jog at the exact same pace. It's just not efficient. And that's the real kicker. For a lot of us, this system is just plain slow. And with how fast technology and the job market are changing, you have to wonder, can this classic approach really keep up? So, if the old way is too slow, what's the game plan? Well, this is where our challenger comes in, AI-driven learning, and it promises to flip this whole system on its head. See, instead of that rigid mold, AI, it adapts. It figures out your personal strengths and weaknesses, and then builds a custom path just for you. It changes speed with you. It'll slow down when you're stuck, and then it'll fast-track you when you've got something down. And the best part? You get instant feedback, 24/7, usually with content that's way more interactive and engaging. Think about trying to learn how to code. A textbook, it just gives you information to memorize. But an AI tool, it actually watches how you code. It points out your mistakes right when you make them, and it can even suggest better ways to do things. It's like having a dynamic partner on your learning journey. Faster, smarter, totally personalized. I mean, it sounds like a knockout victory for AI, right? Well, maybe not so fast. The full story, it's a little more complicated than that. Okay, it's time for the main event. Let's put these two learning methods side by side and really weigh the good and the bad of each one. All right, let's kick things off with the good stuff. With the traditional approach, the social interaction and collaboration, that's huge. You can't replace that. It also builds discipline, and it gets you those formal credentials that, let's face it, still matter a lot. Now look over at the AI column. Its strengths are completely different. We're talking incredible speed, deep personalization, and access anytime, anywhere. It's a data-driven powerhouse that the old model just can't compete with. But, and this is a big but, neither one is perfect. We already know traditional learning can be slow, rigid, and super expensive. But look at AI's weaknesses. It takes a ton of self-motivation, right? There's no human touch, no real support system, and there's a very real risk of AI bias, or just getting things wrong if the data it was trained on is flawed. So, if neither one is perfect on its own, what are we supposed to do? Well, the truth is, this isn't an either-or fight. The real future of learning is a blend of both. And this, right here, is the key. The most powerful way to learn is by combining the amazing efficiency and personalization of AI with the absolute irreplaceable value of human mentorship and teamwork. It's not one or the other. It's about technology and people together. So what does this actually look like? Well, picture this. You have AI tutors that handle all the basics, giving you personalized lessons and instant feedback on the foundational stuff. This frees up human teachers to focus on what humans do best, sparking creativity, guiding critical thinking, and fostering real collaboration. Then, students can take that knowledge and work together on real-world problems, with AI tools right there to help them along the way. Okay, let's bring this all home.
what does this mean for you, for your personal growth, for your career? How do you get that learning edge right now? So let's recap. You've got the structure and human connection from traditional learning, but it's slow. You've got the incredible speed and personalization from AI, but it can feel pretty isolating. The real winning strategy is to stop trying to choose one and start combining them, a hybrid model that takes the best from both worlds. If you only remember one thing from all this, let it be this. AI is not here to replace teachers or classrooms. It's here to supercharge them, to make the entire process of learning faster, better, and more accessible for every single one of us. And that brings us to the final, and maybe the most important point, which is summed up perfectly in that now famous saying, AI won't replace you, but a person using AI will. So you see, the question isn't AI versus humans. The question is how you are going to use AI to become a faster, smarter, more effective learner.